Linda Bradley, 2782, and I'd like to read the following statement. It's louder.
Point your mouth to the microphone.
I can't see what I'm reading. My name is Linda Bradley, 2782, and I'd like to read a statement from another homeowner that lives out of state. And it's lengthy, so thank you for indulging me. The following statement is being read into the official minutes of this meeting by myself, Linda Bradley. On behalf of owners Don Hammonds and AJ McCormac, Division 27, Lot 63, who reside out of state and are unable to attend. Their statement is as follows. We sincerely wish that we could be present to speak to this board, Mr. Waring, and our fellow owners, for we truly hate to ask that a neighbor that we have never met read a statement for which we know not the audience reaction. We can only ask that each of you realize that the person reading our testimony is doing just that and does not in any way suggest their agreement with the content herein. We have grave concerns about the way the Sudden Valley Association is being managed. It is not personal, as we literally do not know a single person living or working in Sudden Valley. We have no emotional attachments or conflicts of interest. We are simply owners that cherish Sudden Valley and want to see it prosper. We believe that all of us as owners need to take control of Sudden Valley and immediately stop entrusting it to a system of management and bureaucracy that is dysfunctional at best and in many instances works against the interests of the owners. We, the owners of property in Sudden Valley, are the ones that are supposed to be in charge, as we, the owners, are the ones that fund this operation and own the association. We have delegated duties of representation of our interests to others, and we have every right to revoke such. The board, they work for us. The employees, they work for us. Yet they are not working for us in terms of their actions and decision-making. Instead, they are working in their own interests and in the furtherance of the employment force and bloated structure we have allowed them to put into place. However, enough is enough. We, the owners, have the power legally and otherwise. Let's fully engage said power and control. In terms of the proposed 2012 budget, upon review, it is painfully clear that anyone that works for and represents the interests of property owners understands their fiduciary responsibilities and their overall obligations should be removed from office for the mere fact that they would propose such a budget. The following are but a few of the reasons we make such a claim. 1. Our economy is severely depressed. Many Sudden Valley owners are struggling to hold on to their homes and lots. Just paying taxes alone can be a challenge. Yet they struggle to make whatever sacrifices they must to avoid foreclosures and hold out until things improve. In such times, Mr. Waring, you and the board should be putting forth a budget that shows us how you will drastically cut operating expenses versus the prior year. How you would propose to do more with less in order to increase our property values, not weaken them. Yet you offer up not one creative idea in this proposal as to how to change the way we run Sudden Valley in order to survive this storm and protect our investments. Instead, you have proposed a sharply increased budget, asking us to pay even higher dues. Why in the world would we authorize such? Again, the mere fact you would submit such a budget is evidence you are not a person we should employ, for you either do not grasp the basics of your fiduciary role, or you do and you are corrupted by your own self-interest. In either case, we think the owners can do better and suggest you are not a good fit for our operational needs. 2, the Sudden Valley Association is grossly overstaffed, yet your team, and our board offer little objectivity on the point. For we as owners have allowed ourselves to become the owners of a social service agency. Some owners seem to know employees, their friends and relatives. Many appear to have adopted these employees in a figurative sense and expect for the rest of us to do so from a literal perspective. Regardless of how our opinions as owners may vary on this point, your role and that of the employees should not vary. Your directive and responsibility is clear. You are not running a social service agency on our behalf. You are charged with running Sudden Valley as a business on our behalf. Your job is to ensure that each year you are at or under budget and that you control costs, that the infrastructure is protected and improved, and ensure that Sudden Valley is a highly sought-after destination for prospective buyers. Further, that you carry out these duties within the guidelines we give you as individuals and through the board. As we all know, the bulk of our dues go to the funding of an employment structure, whereas the bulk of these funds should go to the reinvestment and protection of our property investments. The entire budget and your processes, as well as the board's, are upside down and misdirected. One need go no further than page 3 of your proposed budget to see that you do not get it. We call your attention to the bullet point that says, enhanced staff performance will increase cost of staffing. This simply is not true. Businesses and individuals enhance staff performance each day in this nation through improved processes, leadership, direction, clarity of expectations, etc. This does not by its nature increase the cost of staffing. That's how the government thinks and operates, Mr. Waring, not the private sector. Improved performance of employees generally leads to a reduction in labor costs, not an increase. This is just a simple example of why we have no confidence that the persons that have been entrusted to represent our interests have the business acumen or performance agenda required to remain in their roles. 3, the compensation and discretionary benefits paid to our employees is completely out of market. The number of persons employed for the duties required far exceeds what any reasonable needs analysis would conclude. This assessment comes from one with over 20 years of senior executive level HR experience and a consultant to Fortune 500 companies. The continuance of these wages and benefits is and of itself an act of malfeasance and mismanagement by the board. In closing, we need to freeze all hiring, administrative expenses, until the owners can hold meetings with the board on redefining the approach this community should use going forth in terms of management and operational expenses. We recommend that actions be taken to ensure that no legal expenses can be incurred without the approval of the board. Secondly, no legal expenses can be used to oppose or hinder the actions of the owners in their efforts to oversee the actions of the board or Sudden Valley employees unless approved by the owners. We strongly advise that we create an RFP and review bids for outsourcing the services we require as owners for the management of Sudden Valley. We should not be in the employment business, and most certainly in Sudden Valley, it has only led to years of excessive costs and divisiveness. Instead, these funds and cost savings could be going to reserves and or reinvested in the maintenance of our community. If our board and general manager will not support the owners in this objective exercise, under which the owners would have no obligation, then we suggest they should be removed from their roles. We call for the 2012 budget as presented to be rejected. We further recommend that the owners and the board not approve a 2012 budget unless it is at least 25% less than the 2011 spending plan. Additionally, we suggest that the board immediately engage a firm, one that has never done work for Sudden Valley before and has no connection to anyone on the board, its committees, or its employees, to perform a complete audit of the association's documents and books for the last 24 months at a cost not to exceed $5,000. And lastly, we ask that someone submit a motion that we set up an owners committee to review our governing documents, the results of the audit, and when applicable, and the preparation of an RFP to gain bids for the potential outsourcing of the service